Our Coach's Corner with Coach Matt Griffith, the head football coach and athletic director at Sylacauga High School. And Griff, you prophesied it last week. It was kind of a challenge there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. It's just one of those games. We did not have a good week of practice. We had a hard time getting kids to focus up and to take up for the kids some. It was an odd week with some testing and those kind of things. And we jump out 28-7. I mean, we have the game in hand. We're one score away from just closing the door on them. And, hats off to Valley. We started making mistakes. They hung in there.
This guy right here, though, he didn't make many mistakes.
No, he didn't. A lot of people don't realize Tashawn Looney had the flu, and we held him out. We moved D-Mick right there, our A-back to B-back. And he did a great job. He really did.
A lot of the plays with Mickey was outside.
Yeah, our whole plan was to get outside on them some. They were just so big up front, and we're not a very big team. This was a great shot right here, faking the veer, hitting the post. What
is this?
They ran an overload to the right with an eligible receiver tackle. Was what that was. And it was a great call at the time by them. And me and you were talking, Buster Daniel took that job over. He's a longtime offensive line coach at Opelika.
Describe this step he makes here, Decarius Mickey.
Well, he hesitates, and you don't teach that now. That's a natural move. So, D-Mick had a heck of a night, and if he didn't have a heck of a night, we'd have been in trouble.
What was it, 4 touchdowns he scored or
something? 4
something?
touchdowns, 290 yards rushing.
And here he comes again. He's almost knocked down right there, but he gets outside again.
Great run. There was one thing about it, we had an advantage of speed and quickness on them, and they were much bigger than we were. And, our kids showed some guts to them of getting in a tight fight and being able to win the game.
Mickey had almost 300 yards rushing.
He did. He had 290. Keaton had 143. So both of them had to play well and kind of make up the difference with Tashawn out.
And that throw and catch was a big play in the game.
Big play, called at the right time. It's just one of those things that, you run the ball as much, you'll get some big plays when you do play action. So, I can't say that we're pleased with the win. We weren't pleased with our performance. But as a coaching staff, we were walking on the field, and I can remember telling Coach Steers, offensive line coach, I said, this will be ugly. And I said, but it's got to be a win. It needs to be an ugly win, but it's going to be ugly because I knew by Wednesday we weren't focusing up on Valley.
And Valley, they hung in there for 3 quarters.
They sure did, and that's going to be, as long as that school stays 5A, he can build that program. He's very worried. If they go 6A, it's tough. It's just tough to do.
They ran a 2-quarterback system. How does that challenge the defense?
Well, it's because it's more of a wildcat more than anything. He's just taking his quarterback out, putting his best athlete and snapping him the football. And he ran about 3 plays out of it. It gets challenging because now it's a 3-back system. It's not a 2. When you have a regular quarterback in there, it's just a 2-back system where, like our offense, we've got a wildcat at all times. We want an athletic quarterback so that everybody has to play 3 backs, and we think it opens up the throwing game then.
Sylacauga with a region win over Valley, and that positions you better for the playoff, but a huge game tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think we've looked and looked and looked at it. We think we're a lock in the playoffs regardless. It'd be a hard scenario not for us to go to the playoffs. But it's not just about that. It's about jockeying for position. It's about playing at home in the first round. And it's not just playing at home. People don't understand, when you're 1 and 2 in the region, you play somebody's 3 and 4.
Yeah.
It is a much easier path to continue to play. So when you're somebody's 3 or 4 and you're traveling, you're playing somebody's 1 or 2, it's difficult to get out of the first round. I mean, and I'm just telling you, you look at it across the state, it's very rare for 2 and 3s can be really good ball games. 1 and 4s are usually blowouts. Yeah. So, and somebody that's a 4, it's not impossible. Lincoln did it last year, and it happens every once in a while, but your percentages are against you when that happens.
Sylacauga with a big region win over Valley. Central of Clay County is Friday night, and what a program they started with Clay County and Lime were merging a few years ago.
Sure. I mean, you took 2 state championship schools. You took a 3A state champ, you took a predominantly 2A that's in the semifinals, if not playing for it year in, year out, and you combined them. And you know, I tell folks, and I don't mean anything by this, anything derogatory towards Central Clay. It's a compliment, even though people will take it wrong. That's a football school. You know, they really don't put a lot of emphasis on anything.
Rabid fans over there, too,
besides
man.
football. It's football. Well, you know, and my thing is this. That's not us. You know, we take great pride in our school of being good in all of it. You know, and now does that put our football at a disadvantage? Absolutely not. I don't believe that. I've never believed that in athletics. But you got to realize what you're playing. You're playing a school that puts all their emphasis on one sport, and it's very important over there. And they play like it. They're a good program. We think we're evenly matched.
You've seen tape of them. What do you think?
Oh yeah. You know, you've got to stop their quarterback and running back. You know, and what they don't have this year is Gerald Wallace's boy. They had two big receivers out there last year.
Just throw it up and let them catch it.
I'm telling you, that they were tough on the run game, tough on the pass game. They're struggling a little bit because everything's revolved around their two athletes. Now, defensively, they're a typical Central Clay team. They take great pride in being very good defensively. They line up, and you know, and everybody calls it a 3-4 now. They're lining up in a straight. It's a 50 defense. It's old school 50 defense. And they take pride. You're not moving us out of our 50 defense, and we're going to come after you. So I liked it. I liked the challenge. We're good offensively when we come to play. It's a good defense. It's going to be a fun match. You know, I've told our kids all week, this is why you play. These type of games, you've set yourself up to get this type of game. Let's go play. And look, we've had a great week of practice. We've been very focused. And now it's about kids making plays on a Friday night.
Well, the offensive line for the Aggies is going to have to show up and play tomorrow night.
There's no doubt. They're big up front, you know. But everybody we play is going to be bigger than us up front. You know, number 55 and 53, very good football players, very well coached. You know, both linebackers, we love watching Central Clay linebackers because they read so well and they're such hard-nosed kids. And but we think we've got a really good game plan. We've been smooth all week. You know, it's like I said, you live for these games with two teams that are matched up, and let's see who got their team ready.
Oftentimes when you got a group of individuals, including football teams, and you got one with a virus or the flu, sometimes it spreads. Does that calm down over at Silicaca?
I think so. We you know, Tashawn had the flu, but we have had a rampant last week of stomach virus. It was it was a typical 24-hour virus, and then it was gone. That's kind of run its course. We sent 2 home yesterday that were sick with fever. Both of them 9th graders. You know, both of them don't dress on Friday night, so we're okay there. But it does run its course. I think we're okay varsity-wise. We're nursing some sore ankles. We had a very physical B-team game Monday night against Shelby County, so we got some kids gimpy. But other than that, we seem to be pretty healthy.
Silicaca 6-1 on the season now, as we've got 3 games to go in the regular season. You've done well on the road so far this year, but this is a different animal over at Central Clay.
It is. It is. You know, you're going and look. You know, homeschool rules just a little bit now. There's some homers there. You're going to battle some things there that you don't battle anywhere else. We're a little concerned about that, but at the end of the day, you got to play. You know, at the end of the day, you can't worry about all those things. You've got to line up and enforce your will on another football team. We're a firm believer in that. We're a firm believer in what we do offensively and defensively, and it is about taking our stuff and being better at our stuff than you are yours. And that's what it comes down to.
Finally this morning, special teams hit a bump in the road a little bit last week against Valley.
That's a rarity for us. As much as we work, that doesn't happen much. It's a combination of a couple of things. I cannot remember ever doing that in the 13 years that we've been here, but it happened. We overcame it. We think we've got it corrected all week. I can promise you that.
I've had several people to ask me about the punt situation. What was the deal?
Well, a lot of it was Bailey is such a tall, long guy. He likes, the unwritten rule is that you're 14 yards down.
Right.
And then you're doing a 2-step punt and you're about at 12. You know, he is so long, he likes to get 16, 17. Well, he was about 20. Well, Tyler, looking back, thought, overcompensated and tried to snap it as hard as he could to get it to him, and it was just too much. So we've got to compromise right now. We've put Bailey at about 15, knowing that he's going to take a two-step punt right there, and so it's accumulation of both. It just, it happened. Listen, and I'm glad. Say, I coach punt. I don't let anybody touch punt, because punt and kickoff will get you beat quicker than anything else. So that's a good thing. There's nobody to blame but me. Nobody in the fans can blame anybody but the head coach.
That's why you make the big bucks.
That's right. And I'm not chewing out some poor assistant that's only making so much money because the snap went over his head. It's on me.
Coach Matt Griffith, the head football coach of the Sylacauga Aggies, and also the athletic director at Sylacauga. Our guest this morning, the Aggies on the road to Central Clay County. Kick tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Coach, always a pleasure.
All right, thanks for having me.
More Daybreak right after this.